Yeah, I mean, the color of my skin seems to dictate the way that people respond to me. And I began to realize that at a very young age, particularly where I grew up in Salt Lake, where there was just very few people who had any dark complexion of skin. And therefore, I was kind of just, I started interpreting and seeing the world through this particular lens. And as I got older, I began to internalize a lot of the ways that people uh, either said things to me, the way that they did or didn't engage with me. And that just started to form my identity. So yeah, I am seen as a Black man. Most of the time people ask me, like, are you Puerto Rican? They go through all of these various things and ask me what I am. But it's fascinating. And then I went to college in Seattle, and the same experience. I definitely have profiled by the police and pulled over and whatnot, and said I had things on me that I didn't. And I was just kind of lumped into that. And I was around my dad, so I really started experiencing my other side of the family, because growing up, I was predominantly with my mom's side of the family. And then interestingly enough, when I moved to Atlanta, being that my complexion isn't as dark, um, I started actually witnessing almost a unique opposite effect, where I began to have certain privilege than my friends who were darker than me when we would be in certain places. People would speak to me differently than they would speak to my friends at times. But when I was in a predominantly white environment, then I assumed the role of quote unquote inferior, based upon the color of the skin. So it's really interesting. And it's like this unique dynamic. So I went from Salt Lake City experiencing what it's like to feel discrimination and prejudice and this indirect racism that I like to say. In Seattle, very much of the same. It's like this false progressive type of identity that people have, but you can still feel these underlying currents. And then in Atlanta, flipped it around. And yeah, I'll stop with Atlanta, because then I went to North Dakota and Cali. And I think North Dakota, fascinating enough, North Dakota, for myself, that was when I made this mental shift where I realized I don't have to be inferior based upon how other people see me. And that changed the game.